Gary.
Fun.
Good morning. We're here with SunRISe with Dr. Surajit Khanna, a news bite for anybody from ages 10 to 25, brought to you by Khanna for Kids, KHA for Kids. And as I said before, we are now streaming on 6 live channels, 2 YouTube, 2 Twitter, 3 Facebook. But the main one is please join us on facebook.com/Khanna 4 Kids. And we are very excited today that we are being joined by a young person that Dr. Khanna is going to ask some questions of. Valley's going to be joining us, and we're very excited. She's there getting ready. She's out in Montana. Isn't it beautiful out there? Yes. So I would like to tell you that Dr. Khanna is an attorney. He is a child safety advocate, and he is the champion of the nonprofit Voice of the Kids. He is a servant of the underserved, and we have these meetings every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, SunRISe, with a news bite. And we have our first young person with us, Valley. But if you would like to be on the air with us, please contact us. It's really simple. contactk.com. contactk.com. Fill out the form. We'll get right back to you. Dr. Khanna, I'd like you to introduce. Dr. Khanna is now going to be speaking to Valley. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Gary. Good morning, Valley. Thank you very much for joining us. Before we ask Valley some questions, I would like to kind of give the news bite, which we normally do. And today's topic is about vote, because the presidential election is coming in less than 3 weeks, or almost 3 weeks. So I thought of talking a little bit about vote, because a lot of young adults, those who are about to vote this year or getting ready to vote this year, I would like for them to know a little bit. Like, this is a news bite. We are not going to talk much about it, but we'll just give a bite so that they can do little research on it and get themselves motivated. So my idea is to motivate them to vote. So what is the definition of vote? I thought of kind of give them a little appetite on it. So the dictionary definition of vote is a formal indication of a choice between 2 or more candidates or courses of action expressed typically through a ballot or show of hands or by voice. Voting is a process by which a group of people can decide things fairly. Like, if I want to vote between Valley and Gary, then I might have to make a decision that is fairly between both of them. Voting is an important part of the type of government which is called democracy. In democracy, people use voting to choose government leaders. They also may vote for or against certain laws or projects in their community. So the right to vote is called suffrage. When a group of people votes, it is called election. And in an election for a government job, the people who won the job are called the candidates. Candidates often run a campaign like we are seeing today. They are running campaigns in the TV, in the Facebook, in Twitter. So during a campaign, a candidate tries to convince voters that he or she is the right candidate for the job. So candidates often make speeches and run advertisements on the television. So each country that holds elections sets their own rules. So that's all called vote, right? So that who can vote. Today, most of the countries allows nearly all adults, citizens to vote. So by thinking of this, I don't know how many of you know that what is the history of vote in US? Unfortunately, the voting first started in 1776. Right before, a couple of years before Valley was born, right, Valley? 1776. Only at that time, only white men aged 21 and older, those who own land, could vote. That means you got to be a white man, you got to be 21 and older, and you had to own a land in order for you to vote. That was in 1776. 1868, the 14th Amendment of US Constitution grants full citizenship rights, including voting rights, to all men born or naturalized in United States. So that changed from 1776. Then 1870, the 15th Amendment to the US Constitution eliminates racial barrier to vote. However, many states continue practicing voter discrimination. Poll taxes, those days people have to pay taxes to vote. Then they have to do literacy tests to vote. So all these things were there that prevented the common people to vote. Fortunately, in 1920, it took that long. The 19th Amendment of the US Constitution was ratified, giving women the right to vote. So now we know that Valley was not born during 1776. She was born definitely way after that, because she has the right, have been given the right to vote. 1924, the Indian Citizenship Act grants Native Americans citizens the voting rights. Not too long, 1964, the Federal Civil Rights Act passed to ensure that all men and women aged 21 and older, regardless of race, religion, or education, have the right to vote. Well, that was 1964 when the civil rights was going on. Fortunately, in 1971, the 26th Amendment of the Constitution lowers the voting age to 18. So that means, Gary, you can vote this year because you just turned 18 this year. So you definitely can vote.
Yay, finally.
Finally. So every state in US except North Dakota, well, we don't have to worry about North Dakota, requires its citizens to register before they can vote. Well, we all should go to North Dakota then to vote. Depending on where you register to vote, the deadline to register may be as such as a month or more before an election. So last but not the least, kids or young adults, when you're listening to this news bite about the voting, please understand that today, based on the poll from the social media, under 18, there are 4 million teenagers today in 2020, those who are turning 18, 4 million. In the last presidential election, we have the statistics shows that almost 1 million about 18 years of age, they voted for the president. So kids, they have a major contribution in this voting. Elections are essential for holding policymakers accountable for well-being of the young adults. So we have to consider voting. Anyway, that's enough about vote. Now we come back. I really appreciate Valley, you joined today from all the way Montana. It's a wonderful state. I visited that state before, and it's wonderful. And Valley, being a college student, she is wonderful, and she always supported whatever we are doing in terms of giving a chance for the children, young adults, to share their voice. So this will be the first one. Valley is opening up the window for all the young adults to come up and share their voice. So Valley, thank you very much for joining today. And I have 2 small questions for you. May I ask?
Yes, go ahead.
Well, I know you all are impacted with this COVID-19, this wonderful virus which is going around. Okay, it came as a guest to us in early 2020. what a wonderful gift we got from wherever it came. This wonderful virus came in. You being a student, how does that impacted you?
Well, as of right now, it hasn't put too much of a damper on college life, just besides wearing a mask. But there has been talk to go fully remote, which is just online. So if that happens, students like me, who learn better in person might have a little bit of a setback. So that's the only thing kind of concerning for me.
But do you think if you would have gone live on the classroom, you would be learning a little better than what you're doing on the Zoom?
Like I said, I'm more in person, like classroom type learning.
I hear you.
So, and I have one class that's once a week online, which is math, and it's kind of challenging to learn off of like a 13-inch screen.
So what do you think, does your other friends think the same way, or it's just you who think that physical learning is better than online learning?
I guess it's just really their preferred learning style. So if they're okay with learning online, like colleges have always offered online classes, and that's what they can do and learn well, then good for them, it works for them. But for those like me, it's a little bit more challenging, and you have to put in a little bit more work.
I hear you. So what kind of message would you like to give out to young adults of your age group and the college students, how to overcome these challenges? I'm sure there are a lot of college students, those who have similar kind of understanding that, what, if I go in the classroom, I learn better, and that's me also, okay, because it's more focused. You are in front of the professor, you are in front of the the board, the blackboard we say, okay, and it's much better, much focused. So what kind of message would you like to give your fellow students so that they can remain motivated during this challenging time?
So like if it does go fully remote, I just would keep on it. There's a lot of students who don't even do the online just because they don't have to physically be there, so they choose not to, and then that's when you fall behind. So I would just say make sure you're staying on top of your work, otherwise it'll end up getting back to you eventually.
That's right. That's true. That's true. Well, thank you very much for sharing that in terms of COVID-19. I really wanted the young adults to hear from a live college student. The other question I had was, and I've been very thankful that you are following my social media site and the website and everything, and you are seeing what amazing things we are trying to do to the juveniles, those who are coming out of the incarceration. So what do you think this program would benefit the juveniles, or how do you see this? Do you like it?
Yeah, I think it's a really cool idea, and I just like how it'll give those a second opportunity to regain balance in society and get back on tracks. If they don't have the help they need, they can just end up doing what they were doing and back in jail. So I think this is awesome for what you guys are doing.
Do you know anybody in your area in Montana, those who can benefit from this program if we establish something like this in your hometown?
I'm sure. Yeah, of course. And I think this can benefit a lot of people, not just in my area, but pretty much everywhere around the world.
Do you think your area has many juveniles, or your area is very crime free?
There is. Our actually jail right now is over flooded with people, so there's not enough cells for everyone. They're using different areas.
Nice. Gary, do you have anything to add on this?
Yeah, Valley, thank you so much. We really appreciate your thoughts. I know you're in school for nursing, so, and we appreciate you joining, and we hear your child in the background. You've got a lot on your plate. If you ever get the chance, think about going into nurse anesthetist. That's a phenomenal career. It's a very lucrative career to think about. And, if you have any other friends that would be interested in joining like you did, it's really simple. Just ask me to go to contactk.com for Dr. Khanna, K, and fill out the form, and we'll get in touch with them. And we'd love to have you on another time. So with that as a background, any last words, Dr. Khanna, before we sign off?
No, thank you very much, Gary. Thank you very much, Valley. And thank you, young adults. Thank you, kids, for listening today to the News Bite. Again, don't forget that this bite is all about give you a little bit of appetite so that you can go and do research and get yourself self-motivated. But we are there to help you, especially because the election is coming. Voting is very important. So please do not think twice that, oh, why should I vote? What difference will it make? Well, this is a presidential election. This is a very important election. And I want every children, every young adults, those who are 18 and above should vote this year. Please help us to motivate you so that we can get your vote. And again, this is for you to understand what voting is and why voting is important. So thank you very much for joining us in this News Bite.
Thank you very much. We're here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, about 9 o'clock, a little bit after 9. Please join us at Dr. Surajit Khanna at khannaforkids.com, forkids.com, and on Facebook, facebook.com/Khanna4kids. This is SunRISe with Dr. Khanna with a News Bite. Valley, thank you so much. We enjoyed you. And we're going to sign off now.